Okay, so we are back, and today's video is something we don't get to do a lot anymore, but one of my favorite things to do in the influencer boxing scene, and that is become investigator Wade once again. That's right, because today's video, the entire thing is being made for one word. This.
When you boxing next, man?
March.
That's right, Deji is fighting again in March. That still leaves us with two questions, and that is, who's he fighting and where? I may have stumbled onto the right answer. But before we get into the video, guys, make sure you subscribe here on the channel. We are ever so close to 300K subs. I'm telling you guys, most of you are watching don't even know that you're not subscribed. 60 or so % of you guys aren't. So hit the sub button and let's end the year off right by hitting the 3 and 2 zeros like I do at the club every Saturday night. Hit the sub button. Now let's get into the video. So who's Deji fighting in March and where's it gonna happen? I think I know. So, the breakdown, let's go. All right, so like you guys heard in Deji's latest video, which to be fair, I didn't break that video down, but it is cool to see Deji, one, giving out some money to the people, having a little fun with what he actually likes doing. This is why I said I'm a big fan of Deji still boxing, because he still loves the sport. Yes, the Floyd fight was what it was. He was never going to be competitive in that fight, but he is still in love with the sport. He's still growing, still training, and it was a fun video. He didn't take it super seriously, but as you guys know, I'm a YouTube boxing psycho, and I will take little bits and pieces out of everything. Deji's footwork and reaction time, like I've said before, very impressive. But on to the actual information we take from that video. So let's attack the two fronts here. We're going to start with where. Where could Deji fight in March? And immediately your mind goes to Misfits Boxing, because one, they are the most consistent combat sports promotion in the influencer boxing scene. So you would think with their backlog of consistency and the future cards potentially on the horizon, they would have an event in March, and you'd be right, because Derek Chisora, yes, that's right, heavyweight boxer, just fought Tyson Fury for the 3rd time, but also a training partner of JJ at Shoot Fighters Gym. He pulled a constipated Wade on the bathroom and let a little nugget slip out while talking to Tommy Fury right before that fight with Tyson.
Why don't you just jump on the Miami one?
Which one?
JJ's. Say, JJ, I want to jump on that show. What can we do? That is it, bro. You're fighting, man. I want to fight in Miami on your undercard. What can we do?
So you hear that. Not only is there a fight happening in March on Misfits Boxing, but you also get the location. Where? In Miami. Now, that would make a lot of sense timeline-wise for Deji. Absolutely. But it's not the only option he has. Deji's also hinted that he has maybe signed a multi-fight deal with Global Titans by saying, quote, "We will see, but I am with Global Titans looking to see what they do next." So where would it happen if it was on Global Titans? Obvious answer would either be in the UK or back in Dubai. It does seem like either of those locations are pretty prominent to that company, and it seems like that's where they want to put events on. And with Global Titans already having official statements out saying they want to put on a fight in early 2023, granted, they want to have it between Jake Paul and Tommy Fury, which to be fair is probably not fucking happening. One is because it seems like Tommy is being represented by two teams, and those two teams aren't communicating with each other. And two, I don't know if Jake wants to be in a ring with Tommy Fury having a fight like Tommy did at the first Global Titans, so probably not something he wants his name to be a part of. Sitting ringside, and now you hear the crowd.
He's getting booed, right?
Those are confirmed boos here. But let's just take that information for what it is. They are planning a card already in early 2023. It would make sense that Deji would be on that card. And I want you to listen to what I say here. This is why I don't think Deji will be on Misfits. Because think about what stratosphere Deji has put himself in now fighting Floyd Mayweather. It's not something he's going to want to walk back from, whether it's opponent, stature, main event, most importantly, something we're going to talk about more in this YouTube boxing scene, the pay. For Misfits to bring him onto a card and put him in a main event slot, it would have to make business sense. In other words, they would have to make money on that event, having him in it. And we know Deji can draw, but he also didn't do that in his last fight. Whether it was because it was Floyd or how the event was promoted or any of that stuff, it just didn't work out. But here's the thing. I don't think they care. In fact, I think they want to work with Deji in another main event again, and this is where I'm going to state my claim that I think Deji is going to be either main eventing or co-main eventing for Global Titans, and this one's going to be a hunch from me, but I think they may try to do this second event in the UK where Deji's in his hometown and where he may be able to draw a bit better with a specific opponent, and that is where we get into part number 2. Who is Deji fighting? Now, after Deji said he was going to be fighting in March, the names of possible opponents started getting tossed out like raisins in the trail mix because I'm looking for the M&M specifically. Get that healthy shit out of my face. And those names are all over the map. Bryce Hall, Jay Swingler, Jarvis, Alex Wasabi too. Let's go one by one and see how likely they could be. Bryce Hall would be a pretty good fight for Deji. One, stylistically, it'd be perfect for him to get back in with a guy that isn't considered the highest level, but someone that I could probably say is a little bit better than Fuzi, and a guy that could put Deji back on track to rebuilding his career in the YouTube influencer boxing space. But there's a couple of things wrong with this one too. One, Deji's going from fighting Floyd Mayweather. His name has never been bigger in this scene, and bringing it back to Bryce is probably not something Deji's excited about unless, again, the money makes sense. And if we're sticking with Global Titans as the provider for this fight, I don't know that they're looking at Bryce as a big-time name to stick in there with Deji, so I think Bryce is gone. FaZe Jarvis does make a little bit of sense as well because he is now at 170 pounds. He has been looking for a fight. He was in Dubai watching Deji fight Floyd Mayweather. He would be a little bit more of a competitive fight for Deji, and again, that would be something I would want to see, but would the people want to see that? For Jarvis, it's a perfect fight. For Deji, it doesn't make a ton of sense because he doesn't get that name recognition, that name value like he got from Floyd Mayweather to go out and do that fight. And this is not my personal opinion, but you have to look at it from Deji's team's point of view. It's a high risk for a little reward, and that's probably why that one's not going to happen. Then you go to Jay Swingler, and to be quite honest, this is a fight I would love to see. I think it makes the most sense in the world for both guys. One, because both guys need a solid win at this 170 to 75 pound division. This one would be competitive. It would make sense as a main event, but there's some hurdles here as well. And again, this is something I hate talking about, but if we're realistically trying to pick when Deji's coming back and who it's going to be against and where, you kind of have to talk about it. Both these guys are represented again by Liam Chivers, who we know is a fantastic manager. But is he going to be on board with automatically shoving his two big clients in there against each other, just like we'd have the problem with Deji versus Gibb, without it being an exuberant amount of money? I'm going to go ahead and say no, because it's a guarantee that one of those clients for their next fight is probably not going to be as valuable until they get those wins back. So while I like that fight, and I could say it is the fight to make, don't think it happens, not next, but I can see that later down the road, like late 2023. Keep your eye on that one because maybe something brewing there. And then we go to Alex Wasabi in the rematch. Now, on paper, this one makes all the sense in the world. There's motivation there for Deji, where guys like Jay, Jarvis, and Bryce, Deji might not have that same animosity toward or really any reason outside of money to go and fight those guys, but Alex Wasabi, he does. That is a fight he needs to get back because Alex not only beat him, he beat him basically on his own card and did it in his backyard in Alex's first fight ever. Now, we all know that that was Deji at his very beginnings with Daily Paralysis. He's gotten a lot better since then, so that's another reason this fight makes sense. Deji has improved since that fight, and Alex has been in the gym with Brian Valoria, improving over at Brick House in LA as well. I think a lot of people would be very interested to see how much different that fight would be then versus now. But I have to say, after watching Deji fight Floyd, I think the mindset has changed a bit as to what Deji's looking for in an opponent. And I just think that a YouTube boxer, even Alex, that he has personal history with, is something that Deji's going to see as a step down. I mean, you look at it from his position. Again, he just got done fighting Floyd. Why would he come back to the scene that he basically surpassed by fighting Floyd? It wouldn't make a ton of sense, again, unless the dollars were correct. And I'm sticking with my theory that this is going to be on Global Titans. I don't see them running to Alex to offer him a bag. And we have to be honest, while it was not Alex's fault, it was not. He was injured. There is a bit of an issue there with Misfits Boxing and maybe a sour taste left in their mouth and possibly Alex's from the KSI pullout. So guys, I've given you every single scenario. Bryce, Alex, Jay, Jarvis. I've tried every single name I can think of except, oh wait, no I fucking haven't. There's one more. Before I even say this, let's just go back to every criteria that we've covered so far in this video, that I've seen for myself, that I've heard from Deji himself, and that I've heard from some other sources behind the scenes. YouTube Boxing doesn't have a ton of people to offer him on his same level as far as the eye test goes. How many people are going to draw like Deji draws that he can fight right now? But hear me out. What if we stepped outside of the YouTube boxing scene and instead maybe listen to what Deji himself said about what his possible next fight would be?
Do you know how Jake went for like Nate?
Yeah.
What's that guy's name?
Robinson.
Yeah, I said Nate Robinson, and I think I have to do something like that.
So you have the framework there for Deji, something like the Nate Robinson fight. Now, Nate was an athlete, but what I think Deji means to say is someone that's a celebrity trying to box. And, well, we can also double down on what Deji said, because he also had this to say directly after his fight in Dubai.
Is there anyone at the forefront of your mind
You're thinking, do you know what? I've just stepped in there with Floyd Mayweather. I'm taking you next.
I wouldn't mind fighting Justin Bieber, Liam Payne, anyone who wants it, really. I'm on all the smoke.
Now, Justin Bieber is a bit unrealistic, not just for Deji to call out, but really anybody on f***ing Earth to call out that isn't named Shawn Mendes, because let's be honest, Bieber stole your girl. And it's so f***ing sad that I know that. But that only leaves one man. That's right, Liam Payne from the band One Direction, which is a group I've never listened to. I don't know their music, so don't even ask. But there's nothing to be afraid of, even as the night changes. Like I said, never heard of him. Now, again, this might sound ridiculous, but just bear with me for a second. Liam Payne might not be the answer to all Deji's problems here. He might not be the guy that they end up going to fight, but the premise is what I'm looking at here. Celebrity, boxer, low risk, high reward. And if we're looking at it like that, again, this is just a complete guess on my part, but Liam Payne makes a lot of sense, and Global Titans is writing out blank checks for guys left and right because we know they're not making a ton of money back in pay-per-view revenue. They just don't seem to fucking care. But Liam Payne did say he wanted to box against an influencer, albeit in one of the weirdest fake tough guy sentences I maybe have ever heard.
Would you fight KSI?
I mean, whose dish do you want me to smash in? That's
Would
the
you fight
question.
KSI?
Huh?
KSI?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Regardless, the point is, this is the blueprint for Deji. That's what I think is going to satisfy Deji's want for a bigger name that's going to build his star even higher, and a fight that's realistically going to get him paid the numbers that he would make from Floyd Mayweather. And this is not me saying Deji doesn't want competition. To me, it just looks like he wants to stay on par with whatever stardom he built from the Floyd fight. If Global Titans is the spot that Deji's going to be fighting, and if they decide they want to have that fight in the UK, you can't tell me there's not a better way to sell tickets to actually make money than putting Deji in there with a guy like Liam Payne, who the entire fucking country knows. And to be honest, Deji might still be the babyface there, because every time Liam Payne talks, it seems like people like him less and hate him more. So I may not be 100% correct here, and I'm not saying that I am, but I'm telling you right now, I may possibly have this thing closer than you think. Guys, make sure you hit that sub button. We are on the road to 300K, so make sure you hit that sub button so we can find out who Deji's next opponent is. I don't have those answers, but I know I'm close. So in March of next year, I guess we'll find out.